Hey everybody, how we doing? It's me, it's alanlechusza, the managing editor at the IHHBA, Indigenous Hip Hop Business Association, promoting and supporting positive and conscious Indigenous and Native hip hop. We're gonna have some fun today, and here's why. Not just because I have wild hair, and I know you all like my wild hair, so get used to it. It's me. It's raw. um, but we're gonna have a little bit of fun today and do something a little bit different. I just literally came back from a conference up north in Northern California. So I've been on the road for the last 2 days. Um, clocking in at least 10 hours of driving, 11 hours of driving a day. Um, so it's been long the last couple of days, and it's all right. It's got to get done, and it was enjoyable to do. Got to meet and reconnect with some really good people. Got to do a nice presentation on hip hop, and hopefully the video and the link will be sent to me soon because then I can put it up. I can put it up on our IHHBA and site and our Substack and our website ihhba.org, and I'll post it up here and on my Substack, and I'll also put it up on my website, alanlechusza.com. So you can go there and check it out because I'm starting to build that one from the ground up. So we got to get some things moving over there. So in any case, it was nice, and that one specifically talked about Indigenous and Native hip hop, which is really cool. But on the way back, this is what sparked today, is that I used to, when I was a musician, and I played woodwinds, right? I played all the saxophones, flutes, clarinets, indigenous instruments from around the world, global area phones as they call them. Um, it's I played everything that you could ever imagine. All the double reeds, everything. I did it all. I was never stopping. I mean, I was working constantly. There's a reason I was on the road for 20 years. There's a reason. It was I never knew what city I was waking up in from day to day, or what recording studio I was having to go to from day to day, and only got a few union gigs out of it. That's so weird. Everything was independent. Anyways, um, but one of the areas I started to get into towards the end of my career was a lot of the Latin mix, the Latin dance cultures and such. And I played in a bunch of salsa bands. I played in some of those, and reggaeton was just starting to get going. Reggaeton. It was just starting to get moving at that point, and it was I could read music like you could just read a book, and so it was really easy for me to read the charts. And even though they're like really highly involved, I mean the stuff sounds easy, but man, it's like so precise. Those guys were the most tight when I had to work with them in their bands, and they were small groups, right? It was like four or five horn players at most. I mean, a big group would be like five or six, but everything was so tight, was so precise. Any little bleed over. I mean, the band leader, Jeff. I mean, they went bananas on you. So everything was just like really precise. And so I remember that I tightened up everything got like more sharp at that point. My reading got more sharp, my precision got more articulated, across the board. I mean, it was like a laser at that point. Which was good because it transferred, like I said, it transferred over everything, which was fabulous. But it was at the end, and I liked the culture. I gotta admit it, I really liked the culture, because big band I did a lot of, and that was fun too, But in the small groups, that was really the best. And then I loved playing in the punk bands. I loved playing in the ska bands. I liked playing in the retro band. All that stuff. The hip hop studios. I was living in there, so I enjoyed it all. But those guys, man, the culture, it was something else. it was just, it was like a completely different world. And but I really liked going to like their clubs. And you got to remember, right, like we would practice during the day, and then and then we rehearse, even in the small groups, right, just the horn sections and such. And then we would show up at like the clubs, and the call would be like around 8 or 9 at night. And then you probably didn't go on to like midnight or 1, and then you're playing to like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and then you're driving back and watching the sun come up, and grabbing whatever, gas station coffee you could just to stay awake on the way back. There's a reason my stomach was like torn to shreds, from it. And you know, that was life. That was the way it was. And it was Friday nights were like the big ones. That was it. Friday nights were like it. And I loved the culture, the red velvet that was there, watching the guys dance, in all their single colored, outfits and everything. And then, and we did them all. I mean, there were some deep ones in LA. It was like places I had never even knew existed in LA. I was just like, what? Where am I going? Okay. And it's, like knock 3 times, turn around and then knock 2 more times, and then the guy opened the door for you. It's like, what? Or going through the kitchen. Those are my phone ones, right? You got to enter through the kitchen, through the alley. It's like, seriously, and I'm carrying in all these horns to go in and do that. But it was so much fun. And the guys in the group who were like the flute players, exclusively the flute players. Oh man, the women would throw themselves at those guys. It was just like it was a whole nother world. And I appreciate it. So on the drive back, since I had a 9-hour drive home, um, and I'm listening. And what I decided to do on this trip was I was not changing any of my channels. Whatever was preset, because I have no more CDs. My whole CD collection got recycled when I had to move. It was a catastrophe. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of records and CDs and discs and reel to reels and cassettes, HX, everything all gone, all of it, all of it. It was the most sad time I can imagine. That week, because it took a week to move out my entire collection. It was the most sad thing to happen. And part of it, actually, gratefully, was destroyed because of a very strong failed relationship. So a lot of the key stuff, things related to like my doctoral work, was like trashed. I'm not even gonna get into that. So that was like that was very harsh. So, but the rest of it, that I had, because I was moving, and I lost my apartment and I couldn't take anything anywhere that I went. So I had to like donate everything, and it was the most gripping, sad time to see. At that point in time, it was devastating to watch all this music go away. Um, so I had no CDs. And so my radio station is like pre-programmed, and so it's like whatever's on there and whatever comes up, that's what I'm listening to the whole way. And I figured this will be nice, this is really going to push my ears in some different directions, and boy did it. I mean, I heard some really crazy things, but there was an area going up and coming back down. I was just like, man, this is like slick reggaeton. And I had not I had not even heard or gone back to listening to reggaeton in probably about 17 years, 15, 17 years. Like seriously, like listening to it. So once it came on, it was just like, oh, this is it. So it was like, in that area, it was probably like a good 2, maybe 3 hours worth of this like solid reggaeton listening. And the mixes go on for like ever. They just like never stop. So I was like totally into it. It was just like, oh man. So it was refreshing. Took me, to a nice throwback, to some other times in my life. And I was just like giving it a real critical listening. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do my special tracks for today, and I wanted to host and talk about reggaeton, and I realized even though I was playing in it, and I played in the salsa bands, and I played in the Tex-Mex bands. And I didn't like Tex-Mex. That one was probably one of my least favorite. Um, but But reggaeton and salsa, I can get into. Of all of them, I like reggaeton the best. I just totally got into it. So it's like, all right, we're gonna go down there. You know, I had not given it a fair critical analysis or reading. Time to buck up, buddy. So I'm dropping some good stuff on this. So you get to baile, you get to dance, dance away to some nice chacons from from your heart, and some dance rhythms coming out at you. So we got to start with the guy though. We got to start with Don Omar, and so I dropped three different sets, as you can see in there. And for those of you who are checking this out on the YouTube, you can just go to www.alanlechusza.substack.com, or you can go to www.ihhba.substack.com, and you'll be able to catch it all there. So that'll be really nice, and I'll see if I can post the link up on my website. I should be able to, but I'll see what I can do about it. So, but you can definitely check it out on my YouTube channel and on the Substack. So make sure you're doing that. So we're going to start off with the Godfather with Don Omar, the man who really kind of got this whole genre going, and we'll see how far we go. It opens with the total romantic, quintessential introduction, and this is a newer mix, so you're going to hear a little bit more reverb and a little bit more a delay in the sound with it, which is nice. It gives him some strong presence and prominence in his sound, but it's totally worth it. So check it out. Okay. So, man, we could just listen to him all day long. I mean, classic, right? And I love the introduction with it, and it has that quintessential, romantic style, that reggaeton is so known for, in its sound and and everything, and bringing it together. It's so nice, to hear. Um, and okay, so it has the romantic nature, right? That's drawn in there. It's the timbal the boom, ba-doom, dee, boom, ba-doom, dee, boom. It's that timbal that really draws it forward, and the cajon, that the drum that does that, and just brings it forward. It's just, it hits you in like the right spot at the right time. And it's it's what I like about it is that it's poetic, and it's so different, and that timbal, that just that drive that's in there. And with his style, what I love that he does with his stuff, it's different when he works with a lot of other guys. But what he does is it's transparent. It's like you can actually hear every single element when you're listening to them. It's like it's fantastic. You hear the voice, and he like layers over, and he sings, and then he's doing, the quasi rapping that's going over it, the talk over, is what that's what they would call it in reggae, right? It's the talk over. He's talking over the beat, because that's what MCs were doing. And but he influences it then with a little bit of his, with his singing. So it's not really a talk over, and he's not really singing, and he's not really rapping. It's this whole kind of a mix. It's this hodgepodge of all of it together. And that's what makes reggaeton, the vocals in it, just really stand out. In that, and he floats over the beat. But I love the fact that you can hear every single element. And then when the beat goes away, and then it brings it back in, and you hear the timbal, the timbales, bring it all back in. I mean, it's like it it hits you, like I said, in like the right spot at the right time at the right place. And with this one's nice because he's echoing himself, so they layered himself over himself, so that's what creates that ambient, that reverberative sound, rather than just putting his voice and compressing it through, like a mix of, like, a low echo or something like that, or a slight delay. They actually are layering his vocals on top of it, so they have two of the same vocal tracks running at the same time, and that's what creates this depth of sound with it. And his style, these guys dress, and I mean, look at me. I like to wear the same thing all the time. I mean, there's a reason my patio site is called the Sweatpants Sessions. You know, I I will not go back. I mean, for the conference, I wore a tracksuit. That's like as close to getting dressed up as I'm getting these days. That's it. I ain't, I mean, even for the large interviews, like I wore, like, like hiking pants, blue jeans. It's like, I'm not getting dressed up for you. It's like, you call me for my brain. You didn't call me for my wardrobe, right? But I'm an academic researcher and a scholar. I can get away with that, to a point. But these guys, their style, it's just, they look like they walked off of a magazine cover every single day. It's like, I don't get it. It's like, it's amazing. So I'm gonna drop one more mix on you, and this one's really cool. This one's from, what's his name? Um, it's his name is, oh yeah, EP, the Latino. So he should say El Latino, but that's okay. And this cat, he's got a really cool style. But I like him because you're actually, when you see the video, and it's the third one down below. Um, if you're on the YouTube, you can actually go in and check them out, because I have them listed on my Substack. That's alanlechusza.substack.com. You can go to IHHBA. You'll see it there on our Substack. That's IHHBA.substack.com, and you can go to my website, alanlechusza.com, and you'll be able to see all those there. So because I give you the whole breakdown with it, but it's, you see him mixing all this stuff live, right? Which is totally cool. And then you see the people mouthing the words and then getting into it, but it's like the whole flow, because this music is supposed to be danced to. It's a living music. And that's what hip hop is too. And it's all the really good music. That's what it does. So I'm sorry for Western classical music. It's like, it's because they live on the one and three. Everything has to be determined, it's fixed, it's formatted, it's one and three. It's very robotic. And here, the life lives on two and four. We got that whole backbeat. and we live in the spaces in between the one and the three. We just kind of fill in the blanks, but we hit on the two and the four. We got that whole backbeat that's happening, and that's what just keeps life moving along. We're just going to kick in on that two and four and just keep rotating and hitting and moving right to the next one. And I feel so, and I thought about that too because one of the stations was the classical station, and I love it. One of the DJs that was on there said, that they liked to promote new music, and so they were bringing things back from a lady who was a female composer from 1780. And I was like, this is new music for you. It's like, hello, I thought we were in 2025. I'm not in the 18th century. And I said, okay, shut up and listen to it. And I tried. Literally, I could not get through the first movement of this lady's works, and I knew it was going to be epic and drawn out. Yep, 20 minutes later, we're still hearing the same slop. She's living on the one and three, one and three. Everything is codified and defined. You want to take it back? We're going to hit on the two and the four, and we're just going to keep rocking and rolling all the way through. So check out this mix. This one's a really nice one too, but I love it because you get to see the cat, you get to hear what he's doing, and he throws all the old school. And I gave you the description on my Substack, so you can follow it there. You can see what he talks about, and it's nice because he gives you the list. He gives you a litany of the people that you can listen to. And this was totally, totally, totally for grooving. So check it out. I brought it in a little bit into the mix, so you can check it out because I wanted to get started with. Okay, so that was he was playing off of Daddy Yankee, so it's so slick, and you hear it, and it's just like the little cries that come in there, the little subtleties that are there, and for this one's specifically done to like get people moving. But when you watch the video, and you see it, it's like this kind of dancing I can really get into because it's like everybody's just got like the same groove that's happening. It's like it doesn't have to be rushed. Nothing has to be done. There's a reason these guys can get away with wearing sunglasses at night. You know, I've only recently started to wear my sunglasses during the day because my eyes were like getting shot like left and right. But there's a reason these guys can get away with wearing their sunglasses at night. This is slick stuff. So I had to share with you because I was just totally impressed. Like I said, there was a window of about two, maybe almost 3 hours before it started fading out of like nonstop reggaeton. Even when the commercials came in, it's like the commercial. I couldn't even tell when the commercials came in. It's like, what? Where'd that come from? And then like right back in it. It was awesome. So I had to do something. So check it out, follow, subscribe, share, and comment. I want to see people starting to get involved with all this stuff because there's just way too much goodness that's going on. Okay, Alan Lechusa, I'm the managing editor at the IHHBA. You can check us out on our website there. It's ihhba.org, ihhba.org. You can also follow us on our Substack, which is ihhba.substack.com. You can check me out on my Substack, which is alanlechusza.substack.com, and you can hit me up on my own website, alanlechusza.com. It's weird to say because I haven't had a website in a while. And then you can also follow us and subscribe, share, and comment here on our YouTube channel. It'll be up on mine, which is Professor Lechusa at YouTube, and then you can hit us up on our website from the IHHBA, and that's at the real IHHBA at YouTube. So you can hit us up there as well. So you have it. We're going to be dancing the night away. Thanks, folks.